Hi, welcome back. We've talked about commitment and compatibility in a marriage relationship. And commitment is the foundation, a strong foundation in a marriage, right?
Yeah, has to be.
And we can think that compatibility is the structure, the rooms on the foundation, or the building on the foundation. But today we're going to talk about chemistry. And if commitment is the foundation and compatibility is the structure, chemistry is the music in the building, the music in the home. And I just love that analogy of chemistry. Chemistry is that thing, that spark that forges a beginning friendship. Just remember the first time you saw your spouse or your intended. I remember the first time I saw him, I said, I'm going to marry that fella. And that spark has stayed, and we're going to talk about that a little bit.
Well, chemistry is it's has to do with the emotions, obviously, and your brain is wired to things that you like. You see a certain person, and
Wow.
all of those things, all of those things that you have imagined for that ideal person to be. All of a sudden, there she is, or there he is, and the spark ignites, and that's kind of what chemistry is. And of course, you build on that in your marriage relationship.
It's the connection that keeps you together, that keeps making music. Some of you may know in the scripture, when in one translation, when Adam saw Eve, what did he say?
Wow.
So that was their spark, their initial spark, and that's what forges a relationship. And chemistry involves physical, of course. It involves emotions, as Tom said, mental, intellectual. Chemistry, when you talk about things together. I mean, Tom used to read, sometimes he still does, on quantum physics. And I could listen. I never read those books. But we learned to listen together on an intellectual level about what was going on. And it's just enjoying similar interests together, and that's kind of with compatibility. So it all overlaps, and
Well,
it's also
when our kids were teenagers, they always would ask, "How will I know I'm in love?" And we would say, "Well, you will know." And I guess that's what chemistry is. It's that um, feeling, the emotion, the physical attraction, all of that together. And you can't really explain it. It's just something that you feel.
and chemistry is the spark that ignites romantic feelings, and that's the sexual part too. And we did a video on Want to Survive, Keep Passion Alive. You might want to check that. We give some hints on that. And but research tells us, our marriage counselors tell us, that in 2 years after you marry, that spark, that initial spark, is gone. And we've never believed that.
Well, it maybe
It's
for some people, it dwindles down to a tiny flame, maybe.
for some people.
Yeah.
We've just never allowed that to be, and that's what we try to do in these videos. There are ways to do that. A marriage relationship is not easy. It's not simple, but it is possible. I'm going to show you this video, this poster, and then I'll read it. Marriage is the single most complex entity short of nuclear fission, and nuclear fission may be the less complicated. That was said in 1984 on U.S. News and World Reports.
Well, obviously, marriage is not, it's not all roses from day one, and the chemistry sometimes it flows up and down. But a good marriage, it endures, and you learn how to continue to light the flame with each other.
And you need to know, if you're young married, and we've had some conversations here lately with people who have heard negatives about marriage. So we encourage them with positives. But you're going to have bad days. I mean, that's life. You know, you're going to have bad days. All kinds of days.
Mama said there'd be days like this. That's an old song.
And I remember when we first married, there were times when we had disagreements, arguments, and we'd be in a car. I would hold on to that car door so close, like I could probably fall out. If somebody...
On her side, not mine.
Because I didn't want him to touch me. But there are always going to be times we need to realize that and not think everything's going to be wonderful, but that it's going to be okay.
I will say, as a pastor, I have counseled a lot of people through the years, and I remember more than one individual who has come to me and said, sometimes the wife, sometimes the husband, and they said, I don't love him or her anymore. The feelings are gone and the fire's gone out. And, you know, I've tried to help them. Usually it's too late. One of the two parties doesn't want to come to a counseling session, and the one that's trying to make it work can't make it work by themselves. So that's a danger if you don't keep the fire burning.
I talked to a young lady this morning. Well, I think I would call her a young girl. They've been married 10 years, Allie and Brett, and they just celebrated their 10th anniversary. So we were talking about the spark and I told her about people say you fall out of love in 2 years. And she said, I don't believe that. And I said, well, we don't either after 60 years. But so she said some things. I think it's so neat. A lot of people say they've lost their spark several years into marriage. But I think, this is Allie talking, who needs a spark when you've built a roaring flame? I think that's so wonderful.
Yeah, let me say here, you know, up here, I may have snow on the roof, but there's a fire in the furnace.
She says chemistry between two people naturally change. She said the spark is not the same as it was all new and gushy, you know, when you first fall in love. It's different. It's deeper because as you share things and moments, it builds and builds up on all the ones that came before. She said your shared thoughts and experiences continue to kindle that initial spark. If both of you are committed, that's the foundation, to tending the flame, it will not be snuffed out. And that's what we believe, that's what we've lived. I mean, I can get so mad at him, and we've talked about that, and he doesn't get mad so much. But no matter that does not snuff out the flame because we have a history. And some people want to know, so the chemistry's gone. The spark is literally gone. Can it be rekindled? And
I really think it boils down to meeting the needs of each person. Barb has needs, I have needs. If she doesn't meet my needs, then, you know, the flame just keeps getting, it goes out.
Dimmer and dimmer.
And if she meets my needs, obviously, the flame continues to burn. Same for her.
So we have shared this book before, His Needs, Her Needs, by Willard Harley. And he says you can affair-proof a marriage, but I think if you do that, you can keep the spark always bright. Tom's going to share us. There are basic needs of a man and a woman, and I will have these in the description written in the video.
Well, in the book by Harley, he says the man's 5 most basic needs are first, sexual fulfillment, then a recreational companion, an attractive spouse, domestic support. That means he wants somebody to help.
Do his laundry.
Well, that too. Yeah, she needs to be a good homemaker. I think that's what that says. And then admiration. We all want to be admired, and so he says that these 5 needs are not necessarily in this order. Some people would want admiration more than sexual fulfillment, but most men probably sexual fulfillment is their number one need. And if the wife can't do that or doesn't want to do that or is remiss in doing that, the flame dies down. He's looking somewhere else. This is just part of a real life situation. We are not, we don't live in the dark. We know how all this works.
So Harley says, a woman's 5 basic needs tend to be affection, conversation. Do I like to talk?
You do.
Honesty and openness, financial support, and a family commitment. And you can understand these. We could go into all of these on a different video.
Well, I would like to highlight the fact that sometimes a woman's number one need is affection, which is maybe hugging or just sitting and talking, affectionate response from her husband. And a man's number one need might be sexual fulfillment, and those two are not the same. She's wanting affection, but she doesn't want to have sex. So you've got to learn to navigate these needs, and I think it's very important. In fact, I would say that meeting each other's needs is the most important thing you can do to have a strong marriage.
And we've talked about the love languages, and that's important. And these are needs, and you have to. And Harley has ways in there for you to find out your needs. I'm not sure how we ever knew.
Well, you have to talk about it, obviously. Don't expect your mate to just know what your needs are.
I would never have thought. You know what, Tom's one of his basic needs, other than sex and admiration, is an attractive spouse. He has always liked me to look nice with him.
Yeah, I want you to look nice all the time.
All the time. I would have never known that. It probably would have come out.
And you are attractive.
But you need to learn the needs of your husband and your wife and speak their language. And that all of that together is going to keep the spark alive. And even when you have disagreements and issues, because the spark is there and you're meeting needs, you're going to make it. And can you do that all the time? No. And there are life issues happen. Things happen. I had a hysterectomy in my 40s, and wow, things changed.
Yeah.
Just like today. It's so hot out here.
It was like living with my sister instead of my wife for a while.
But you know what? I worked and worked to find the right solution, to get my hormones right. And I had a doctor who worked with that. So we did that. Things are going to happen that change things. Tom had prostate surgery 20 years ago. But our chemistry is still alive.
Yeah, it didn't leave me the same, but I still have a strong attraction for her, and the fire hasn't gone out, and so you just can't let that happen. I guess a lot of people do, but if you want to survive, keep passion alive.
Never let circumstances be an end to physical intimacy. It's so important. Now, it may not be as important in your relationship as it has been in ours or in most or whatever, but you have to work and you have to know. And every time we have a video, we tell you it takes work. It takes reading books or watching podcasts and just talking to each other, learning your needs, learning your language. I just love this comment in one of the books we do, The Triumphant Marriage. She writes, after all these years together, I can still see him across the room and feel my heart flutter. Well, I do. I have always done that with Tom. Now we're pretty much together
24/7. Yeah.
So I don't have time to let my heart not flutter. So, but it's just the music. If chemistry is the music, then your home should be joyful and happy and playing good music. I love to have music going in the house, but just to think that chemistry is the music in your marriage.
Keep the music going, whatever genre you like. Make it happen in your marriage relationship.
Another man wrote, he said, the key to our marriage is friendship. That's chemistry. I think friendship together, enjoying each other, that's chemistry. And he says, Sheila has become my best friend. Am I your best friend?
Always.
Sleeping, eating, working, vacationing, playing, and how they raise their children. He said, I've done all of that with someone who provides my emotional, physical, and spiritual support. Is there anything better than that? And I would say in the end, no one person can meet all your needs, you know. We as Christians believe the Lord meets our needs.
Well, in a spiritual sense, but in the physical sense, we need to work on meeting the needs of our mate.
Right.
And if you know what they are, then today is a good day to reignite the fire, because we're outside and it's about 90 degrees.
You can keep that spark alive. And, you know, I want to tell all of you people that are planning weddings in the fall and the ones that are just getting married now, but it takes work to keep that spark alive as you understand and know the needs. So I'd like to ask you to like this video or to make a comment. Please make comments if you would like to, and I will answer them. And to subscribe to our channel if you would.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And keep the spark going.